My name is Jason French, and obviously I'm a proud employee here at Field Level, and excited to do today's webinar with you guys. A little bit about who I am and where I also come from. So obviously, like I said, I'm an employee here at Field Level, but I'm also a longtime high school football coach. I've been a high school football coach for many years, mainly in the Los Angeles area. Again, I now live in San Diego, which is where our Field Level headquarters are. And what I've also been doing, I work with USA Football, where I travel around the West Coast, sometimes different places around the country as well, besides just the West Coast, teaching clinics, doing a lot of camps, and I've also been doing a lot of private quarterback training over the years, and I've done that nationwide. So you guys are getting a webinar today and a live education series today from somebody that's been, in it with you guys, that has had tons and tons of opportunities to build relationships with athletes, coach the game itself, work with parents, other coaches, and now obviously I do this every day when it comes to the recruiting process with Field Level. So again, real excited for you guys to be here today. What I want you guys to understand as we go into today's conversation, and that is, it's the Parent's Guide to Recruiting, is that what we're going to talk about today is going to come from literally thousands of conversations that myself and our team has had with coaches at the high school level, the club level, junior college level, and every level of four-year schools that you could think of within the 11 sports that we serve. And so we know that you guys love your sons and daughters, or if you're a guardian of a young person, you love them, you care about them. You truly want to be helpful in the recruiting process, and you want to be an impactful person in this time. And we want to go with you guys how to go about this process the most organized way. What I am not here to tell you what to do is how to parent. And I'll tell you what, it would be wrong for any other parent to tell other parents how to do things. But with our experience with Field Level, and again, all the conversations we've had, all my experience in coaching, all of our experience with communication with coaches, we're really going to give you guys some good information on things you guys can do to help your guys' home, your athletes, the relationship with your coaches today. And as a coach myself, I've had the full gamut of relationships with parents, whether it's been great relationships, and I actually have those. I have relationships with parents that I have from my past years in coaching that are literally some of my best friends to this day. People that I go to for advice, people that I call on a weekly or monthly basis to just tell them about my life, get input on mine, just to make sure that I have that great relationship with them. I've also had parents that were difficult, to say the least. And so I've been through all of it. I talk to coaches all the time that have been through all of it. And so today we really want to help bridge that gap with parents and athletes, parents and coaches, bringing everybody together. And we're going to go through that today. So as we get going, today's going to be a little bit different than most of our education series that we do. Typically, we do some kind of a PowerPoint presentation, and there will be an element of that later in the broadcast. But for the most part, I really want this to be conversational. I wish that I could be with you guys live. I actually much prefer speaking to people live in a live audience. I can see if a joke lands or if you guys are nodding with me or if it's not landing at all. But can't do that today in front of just a camera. But hopefully you guys are retaining a lot of this information, agreeing with it or learning from it. And you guys are going to be able to use this as you guys go forward. So again, this is going to be more of a conversation. I'm going to talk to you guys a lot about what's going on within my conversation topics as we go through it. And then at the end, after I've gone through the conversation topics, I've talked to you about what to do on Field Level. We're going to have a question and answer time for all of you to start writing questions in. And again, that's why we started out with that chat area. We use that chat area for our questions. There is also a question and answer area in this platform. I ask that you don't use that as I get to have an easier way of communicating with you, reading the questions on the chat area, not the question and answer area. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So let's get started. So first up, does your athlete want to play sports at the college level? Whatever level it is, do they want to play at the next level? I'm assuming for the wide majority of you guys, that answer is yes, or else you guys wouldn't be here and you guys wouldn't have your athletes on Field Level, which we wouldn't have had your email information to contact you. So the answer is probably yes, but it's good to have that conversation right off the bat. Do you want to play at the next level? That might give that athlete the opportunity to confess that they do, or realize that they have people in their corner to help them in this process, which is initially you, the parent. So once that athlete has decided, yeah, mom, dad, guardian, I'm in. I want to play at the next level. First, we have to do is sit down as a family and have a conversation about this. And here are some topics that I think all of you guys should write down or memorize or take into account before you have this conversation with your sons and daughters or athletes that are in your home. First, what level do they believe they can play at? And for those of you who don't know a ton about the different levels of play, in the NCAA, there's Division I, there's Division II, Division III. There's another conference called the NAIA, which many people in many sports kind of equate to Division II athletics at the NCAA level, but it's another conference in and of itself. There are junior college as well, and there are conferences all around the country, the NJCAA, the CCCAA in California, and then an awesome organization that we partnered with called the Northwest Athletic Conference in the Pacific Northwest. They're also another junior college organization. So there are multiple levels and multiple ways to play college athletics. So what level do they believe they can play at? Now, they may say something to you like, I believe that I can play at the Division I level, and I want to be the next X grade athlete. You know, you can name that athlete. I don't know how much you, the parent, knows about these different levels of play, or if you guys know what it takes to play at these levels. We'll talk about that later. But don't kill their dream right away, right? I was a high school football player. I played from youth football through small college, and I thought up until about age 16 that I was going to be the next Joe Montana. Now I'm aging myself a little bit, but I thought I was going to be the next Joe Montana, the next greatest quarterback of all time. No one killed that dream. I kind of killed it for myself as I realized, as I learned more about the sport, more about the athleticism that it takes to play at this level, the major Division I level. But I ended up playing at the Division III level. But hear them out. Hear where their mind is. Hear where their goals are. Hear where their heart is. Next, are they willing to play, do they want to play right away, or are they willing to wait and put in the work to obtain that starting position? These are things you should think about, because you might be a Division I level athlete, but once you get to that Division I program, it takes 2 or 3 years to work your way up to that point where you're a starter. Or you might be a Division I athlete and decide, I want to play right away, and I'm going to go to Division II school and start and have a chance to start right away. It's up to the athlete, up to you guys as a family to have that conversation. Now, are the athletes are they happy to just be part of the team, or do they want to be a star? Same kind of thing goes. Do they just want to be on a Division I program, or do they want to play right away and be a star at the Division II level? Do they want to wait a year or so and be part of the team at the Division II level, or do they want to go impact and be the superstar of a Division III level school? That is up to you guys as a family, and also something that the athletes should be thinking about as they're starting to think about their college career. What states do they want to play in? Do you, the mom or dad or guardian, want them to stay in state? Do you have a parameter you're okay if they stay within a state that touches your state? Do you care at all? They can go anywhere, whatever is the best fit. That's the thing that you guys should talk about as a family. What cities? Is it a major city? Is it a small city? Is it a small city near a big town? Are you okay with living 30 minutes away from a big city like Chicago? It's up to you guys as a family to decide that. Up for the athlete to figure out what kind of environment, what kind of geographical location they want to be in. What geographical location are you, the parent, okay with them being in? What majors are they interested in? What do they want to study? Do they have to have that answer right now? No. Maybe they have 5 interests. Maybe they have 3. List those down. Start being able to distill that down to, go from 5 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1. Where are they at with that major? What kind of weather do they want to live in? Do they live in Wisconsin? They're like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of the cold. I want to live in California. Or are you in California like I was? I'm born and raised in Southern California. And I'm like, you know what? It's great to have this great weather all the time and in shorts half the year. But you know what? I want to feel what it's like to play in cold weather. I want to see what it's like to have seasons. I want to see the leaves change color. You know what I did? I moved to Pennsylvania and got that experience. And I loved every second of it. So what are they looking for there? Now, do they have any side interests? It might sound strange to you, but we have people that contact us about this all the time. My son, this is a funny conversation I had. My son wants to play quarterback. He thinks he's a Division II level quarterback, but he's also got a side interest in rodeo. what do we say to coaches when we tell them that we're interested in this? Are they going to be okay with it? If you guys have side interests, if you have sons and daughters or kids that are in your home that you're responsible for, do they want to participate in performing arts? Do they want to play another sport? Do they want to make sure that they have time for an internship in the summertime or during the season? Whatever the case may be, if they have these side interests, and if that plays into deciding what school you want to go to, what school they want to go to in general, these are things you should have on your list of when you start having conversation with college coaches and when you have the conversation with the high school coach. We'll get to that in a minute. So what are those side interests that this athlete wants to pursue as well? And then lastly here, finances. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that you should be, as parents, divulging all your financial information to your athletes. But at the same time, you got to have that conversation of what the family is able to afford when it comes to a college tuition. We all hear about these Division I schools or these athletes getting major scholarship opportunities, and they're getting a full ride, everything getting paid for, school, boarding, books, food, the whole nine. But that doesn't happen very often. The numbers are actually smaller than what you think. Division II schools are able to offer scholarships, athletic scholarships, but some of them also offer only partial. Some Division I schools offer partial. Some of them may provide a partial, half off tuition, pay for all your books, but you've got to take care of lodging. You've got to take care of your food. There's different ways that these colleges get creative in finding ways to provide financial aid packages. Division III schools, talked with Father yesterday. Athlete is going to a Division III school. Division III schools aren't allowed to offer athletic scholarships. What they can do is offer academic scholarships or get creative in other academic-based financial aid packages. This athlete went to a $61,000 a year tuition school. They found a way this school to provide $51,000 in financial aid packaging, $10,000 that they had to pay. So what can you guys pay? What can you guys afford? What is the athlete and the family willing to take on in loans? These are things that you should think about when deciding about your college future. So those are all things that you should have as a family, that you guys sit down and talk through all these points when it comes to thinking about playing at the next level. So now that you've had this conversation, what's next? Start researching schools and programs that meet those things that you guys talked about. And then you guys got to start thinking about what it actually takes to play at the different levels that your athlete is interested in playing in. Many coaches understand this. They know that, I'm sorry, I'm getting a chat here. And Hal, yeah, go ahead. We do record this. You can get this, you can watch this recording later if you'd like. And I'm going to ask anybody to make sure that if they want to chat with me or ask a question, please feel free to wait to the end, and I'll let you know when that end time is, so I just don't get interrupted here. Thanks. Next is, when it comes to the levels of play, there's different body compositions and athletic ability, and sorry again, I'm getting more chats here. Sorry for the mix up here. All right, back on track. So, does your athlete have the ability to play through schools? You understand maybe how fast an athlete has to be, or how high they have to jump, or the body composition that they need to have in order to play at that level. Take some time to research that. Next, their academic requirements. Your son may want to say they want to go to Yale, but they only have a 2.5 GPA. Check into that. A lot of Division III schools have high level academics that maybe schools you never heard of in the country. By the way, there are literally thousands of schools that have athletic programs. Many of them have high academic standards. Does your athlete in your home meet those those academic standards? Check in on that stuff. Do they have the majors? You may have a list of 20 schools that your son or daughter are interested in, but do they have the major that the athlete is also interested in? Did that match up? Make sure that they have the same majors. Look into the sport program, who the coaches are, what kind of scheme or style of play that does that coach typically have for the position that your son or daughter is playing. And what I say, be my scheme or style of play. There are different kinds of offensive, defensive, ways that they go about executing their program and their style of play, how they compete against other teams. Does that match up with what that athlete or the athlete in your home can do and participate in? Things to think about. And then make sure that you find out what these schools, by looking at these athletes and the scheme, does that match up with the kind of level of, or the kind of athlete that is in your home? So would your athlete be a good fit Would they be a kind of kid that they would want to recruit for their program? So these are all things that you guys can research on your own. So now that you guys have had the family meeting, you guys have done some research on your own, now it's time to have a conversation with your coach. Field level is the athletic community where we bring people to collaborate about opportunities to play at the next level. We are a network. We network high school and club coaches with college coaches nationwide in all of our 11 sports to help the athlete find as many opportunities as possible to play at the next level. They are your best resource. They are the athlete's best source of recommendation, best source of promotion. So having that conversation with the coach, being on the same page with the coach is arguably the most important thing that you guys can do as parents. So time to talk to the coach. Time to set a meeting first. Ask them to meet with you when they are available. Don't ask them right away. Don't ask for the meeting right now. Schedule a time with them to meet with them about this and let them know what this is about. I'm going to tell you guys from experience. I've been a coach for a long time, and like I said before, I have some of the best people in my life that I'm truly blessed to have in my life are former parents. I've also got tons of stories of parents that were extremely difficult to deal with. Be that parent that is going to be an impactful parent for that coach moving on further. Be that parent that coach is going to brag about forever. Schedule a meeting with them. Let them know what's going to take place, and let them know that it's going to be about recruiting so they can be prepared for that meeting. Don't try and blindside them. The topics that you guys should have ready to talk about when you talk with that coach. And again, they'll be prepared, so they should have some topics as well, or be prepared to answer topics on this subject. But things that you should think about as well as a family when you meet with the coach. First is, what level do they believe your son or daughter can play at? That's very important, making sure you guys are on the same page. If they are not on the same page with you, let's say you guys think that your son or daughter is a Division II level athlete, and the coach says, you know what, I think you're the Division III level athlete. Don't be upset with them. Okay, you want to make sure that they're giving you honest feedback, and you want to make sure you guys don't have any emotional reaction to that. Ask their reasoning behind why they believe your athlete can play at whatever that level is, whether it's high level Division I or Division III or junior college, wherever the case may be. Ask them their opinion on that. And then take those notes down. And we're going to bring that up later. What is their initial plan for your son or daughter in recruiting? Do they have a plan? And make sure when you come at them about this question, they're going to probably be a little like, okay, why are you asking this question? Are you judging me on this? Make sure you come at them with a tone that you're not going to judge them. You just want to hear what their plan is in the moment. You may have a coach that is a longtime coach, coaching for 30 years, has a ton of connections, or a brand new coach just getting started, starting to wet his feet or her feet in the recruiting process. See if they have a plan. Do they have a personal database? Do they have a bunch of coaches that they're in connection with? Are they widely connected within your state or within states that touch? Have they met dozens and hundreds of coaches at conventions and clinics, over the years of their coaching? Or again, are they brand new? Do they use field level? Probably yes with this audience, because you guys are on here and you guys have your athletes attached to their roster. But do they know the full functionality of field level? Have they truly understood and taken the time to learn about field level and how impactful it can be to their own personal coaching network, which will result in getting your athlete out to literally thousands of coaches in our network to help your sons and daughters? Do they have the full functionality of field level? Now it's time to let them know what your athlete's level of desired play is. If that doesn't match up, we're going to have a conversation of why that doesn't match up, and what can they, and towards the end of the conversation, what can the athlete do to maybe raise themselves to that limit? Are they a Division II level athlete, but they need to work on some certain skills in order to get them to the Division I level? What does that coach have to say? What's their opinion on that matter? Also, it's time to let them know in this conversation what schools your athlete is interested in going to. And you can use your target school list on field level to get yourself organized around that. We'll also talk about the target school list a little later in today's presentation. What is their geographic location of desired level or desired level of play when it comes to the geographic location? Do they want to play in a big city? Do they want to play in the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, the South, East Coast? Where does the athlete want to be? Where is the family okay with them being? No point in a coach promoting your son and daughter to a school in the West Coast if you're a family that lives in Florida and you want them staying in the South. No point of them promoting you nationally if you only want the athlete to stay within states that touch this current state that you live in. So make sure that that athlete or the coach knows your desired geographical locations of where you want them to be promoted to in recruiting. What is their desired level of play? Okay, I'm sorry. Where is their desired majors of interest? They want to know that. So when they start fielding information from schools at the college level, does that school know or have the major that the athlete is truly interested in? So that coach at the high school and club level can say, you know what, thank you very much for your interest, but this athlete wants to be a business major. You don't have a business major at your school. Or this athlete might be very interested in your school because they're a nursing major. They want to be a nursing major, and you guys specialize in nursing. Whatever the case may be, they should be armed with that information of what major or majors that the athlete is interested in. What are those side interests that the athlete has? Does the athlete want to be a journalism major and intern at the local broadcast news station in the area, and it might take place during the season? Will that be an issue if they have to miss a meeting once a week for their team? Ask that coach to have that on their list of information. So when they start talking to coaches at the college level, they're armed with that. They want to know that they're able to have that conversation with the coach as that middleman between the athlete and the college. And then finally, let the coach know about not finally, but the coach needs to know about the financial situation. I'm not saying tell that coach your tax return information, right? They don't even know your 401k, your yearly salary, what your net worth is, none of that. But they do need to know some quick information about what you're able to afford when it comes to college tuition. Quick example, again, like I used earlier, that family that I talked about earlier with the $61,000 a year tuition, they got $51,000 a year in aid. They're only coming out of pocket for $10,000. Let's just make it a little simpler. Let's say the school is $50,000. You can only pay $20,000 a year. If that school comes at you with only $25,000 a year in aid, but you really need $30,000 a year in aid, that coach at the high school level or the club level needs to know that, so they can get back in touch with that college and say, we appreciate your offer for the $25,000, but unless you come up with another $5,000 in aid, this family is not going to be able to entertain this school as an option because it just doesn't meet their financial requirements. So they need to know these kinds of things as they are being your advocate and your athlete's advocate in the recruiting process. And then a couple other things in this conversation is, what can you do as a parent to help the coach in the recruiting process? And they may have various things for you, but ask them that question. Again, you guys are a team with this. Your coach, the family, the parents, the athlete, you guys are a team in the recruiting process. So make sure that you guys are asking them what you can do to help serve them in this process, because they are giving up so much time, so much effort, so much love and passion when it comes to them coaching your sons and daughters within their team. What can the athlete do to improve in their ability to be recruited? What can they do academically? Do they need to get tutoring? Do they need to improve in their math class, in their science class? Do they need to find a way to get to school earlier to get tutored? Do they need to stay after school to get tutored? Do they need to spend more time on homework? If your coach sees that you guys are interested in Ivy League schools or high academic Division III schools, and he goes, hey, that's great that you have these high academic aspirations at these great institutions, but you have a 3.5 GPA. These schools are really looking for students that have at least a 3.8. We got to find a way to get that bump up to 3.8. Maybe you guys need some help with your test taking, SATs, ACTs. What can be helped there? Athletically, do they need to work on a specific skill? Do they need to get in the weight room? Do they need to improve upon a certain athletic measurable? They need to get faster, stronger, jump higher. Whatever that is, that coach can give you that information based on your athlete's position. What can they do? So now that you guys have moved on from that conversation, what can you guys as parents do to continue helping and supporting your athletes and your coaches? Monitor your athletes' academics. Most schools, and I've worked in a lot of schools before working here at field level full time, but a lot of schools now have online portals where you're able to document where all the information is documented, what their homework is, what their projects are coming up, what their grades are currently. Some teachers are really adamant and very particular about making sure this is constantly up to date. Some teachers take a little time. Whatever the case may be, you guys do have the opportunity to see these things, to stay on your athletes academically. Again, and it's pretty simple to understand, the better your grades are, the more options you have to go to college. Encourage your athletes. So next up here, encourage your athletes in their off-season improvement and in their in-season extra work and their extra training. Whether that needs to be a sports performance trainer, a private coach. If there's an ability to get them to the next level by taking some extra time in season or out of season in their off season to do that, encourage them to do that kind of stuff. Again, I can't tell you how to parent, but I definitely recommend encouraging your athletes. Don't bombard them with it. This isn't your dream as a parent. This is their life. And so make sure that you're encouraging them in a way that you're there to support them in whatever their dreams and goals are, not that you're living vicariously through them and pushing them because it's not something that happened for you. So those are important things to do to continually encourage them. Be patient with your coach. I'll tell you what, most of these coaches around the country are not making much money. We do not coach for the dollars. We coach because we truly love the games that we coach, the sport that we coach, and the young people that we get to coach. I get asked all the time. Again, I've been coaching high school football for a long time. People ask me, you coach high schoolers? They must drive you nuts. They're probably bouncing all over the place. They're insane probably. And I answer every single time, absolutely not. I love working with these young men every single day. I love the relationships I get to build with them. I love watching them improve on the field. I love building that relationship and having these lifelong relationships. Kids that I've coached from year one are still kids that I talk to this day. Grown young men, married, families, jobs. I love being able to stay in connection with them because I built that relationship with them when they were in high school. We don't do it for the money, we do it for the love. So make sure you guys stay patient with your coach. They love your athletes, so they are really doing this for the good of their athletes. And they also have full-time jobs. Many of them are either full-time teachers or full-time staff members at a school where they've got a litany of other things they've got to do. Their deans, their principals, their administrators, their teachers. They've got hundreds of kids that they're dealing with in class. Many other kids on their team. They're a club coach. Or they're an off-campus coach. They have a full-time job. They have a family. So remember that they have a lot of things going on. They got a lot of balls in the air. So stay patient with them. As a rule of thumb, there's a 24-hour rule that most coaches give their parents and athletes. If there's an issue that you want to speak to your coach about, give it 24 hours for you to calm down. Sports are a highly emotional thing that we all are attached to. Whether you were a former athlete and your son or daughter is playing the same sport you did, or whether you weren't an athlete at all. My dad wasn't an athlete at all. Did no athletics. He was in performing arts growing up and in college. And he fell in love with sports because of me. And he was passionate. But he never played a sport in his life. But he was passionate through me because sports is passionate. ESPN had a pretty cool commercial that they've been doing the last week or so. And it's just basically around, there's nothing like sports. Nothing brings out the passion and love and excitement that sports does. But with that said, make sure that when you do have something going on, there's something wrong, you're passionate about something, you're jacked up about something, whether it's good or bad, give it a 24-hour rule before you talk to your coach. Let that simmer down before you have that conversation. And when you do set that meeting with that coach, whatever it is, let them know what it's about so they're prepared to talk to you about it. Next, coaching intensity at the next level or at the college level is different from what coaches are saying and doing at the high school and club levels. To make this in a friendly way, they are verbally more aggressive and a lot more intense with how they handle athletes at the next level than they are typically at the high school level. There is always a line. There's always a ethical, moral line and verbal line that is crossed, that can be crossed where you need to make sure you step in as a parent. But even myself, I've had parents see me be intense and loud on a football field while coaching and never knew me from Adam. The athlete comes in to their car after practice and they're like, who the heck is that coach out there screaming at you? I don't like that. I don't like him. And that athlete would respond, oh, Coach French? He loves us. He spends the time with me in meetings, at lunch, nutrition, before and after practice. Yeah, he's intense and he's loud, but I love it. I need it. And he makes me a better athlete. And in the end, he really does truly care and love me as an athlete. So remember that you're going to see sometimes the tip of the iceberg. A lot of stuff is going on underneath. And know that if your athlete wants to play at that next level, the coaching gets a lot tougher at the next level. And they need to get ready for that intense coaching, that constant pushing that they may get at the next level. And they need to start getting used to that at the high school club level. So again, there is a line, but know that there is more than what you see at a practice or in a game where that intensity is being shown. All right, so you've had a family conversation. You've talked to your coach. You're being great encouragers and support systems for your athlete and your coaches. Your athletes are now starting to get interest. This is awesome. That's great. Well, what are you doing next, right? Well, what's next? Make sure that your son and daughter is always responding to any interest from a college. Getting interest from a college athletic program is an honor. No matter how great of an athlete your athlete is, okay, it is an honor to get that interest. It is an honor to be offered a scholarship or financial aid, or just honor to have a school contact you and say, we want you as part of our team. Make sure, no matter what, whether you're highly interested in the program or whether you don't have an interest in the world in that program, that your athlete is getting back to those schools and those coaches. This is something that, again, these young people that we deal with, that I coach, that are your athletes in your home, your sons, daughters, and people that you're in a guardian position of, they're still teenagers. They still need your parenting and your guardian, your guidance in this process. They need to learn that they need to get back to them. They may need help. They may need help in how you respond and how they respond to this coach. Whether you're helping them, whether you talk to your high school and club coach about, hey, we were contacted by a coach from this school. We're not interested. What can we do to be polite so we don't burn a bridge? Because I'll tell you what, that coach that recruited your athlete at one school and you're not interested in them, that coach may turn around in a year or two, get hired at the school that your son or daughter ends up going to, and being a coach on that staff remembers, oh yeah, that kid, I remember him or her. I tried recruiting them, never got back to me. They're extremely rude. You never know how this shakes out in athletics, so make sure that they are contacting that coach back and being respectful and grateful for the interest. Make sure you guys are setting up time. So again, contact your coaches and be in communication with your club and high school coaches in a periodic basis. Ask your coach in that original meeting, okay, great. Thanks for this conversation. When can we set a follow-up meeting? Is it a month from now? Is it 3 months from now? When is an appropriate time for us to meet about this to make sure we're all on the same page? Ask for that coach as well for guidance. If you have a question, contact them, be patient with them to get back to you. Don't bombard them. Let them know that you need some help and that you'd appreciate anything that they can help you with. Remember that while going through this recruiting process, that you need to find the right fit for your athlete. It is and I've got tons of stats on this, and you can look them up yourself, but on average, it is roughly, I would say about 5% of high school athletes move on to play college athletics in their different sports. I know that it used to be 6%, it moved up to about 7% in football, that literally out of roughly 1.5, 1.6 million high school football players in the country, 6 to 7% only move on to play at the college level. That means any level. And even a smaller percent of that moves on to play at the professional level in any of the sports you guys are in, whether it's playing a sport that doesn't have a professional team, but maybe an Olympic ability or Olympic team. Those are such small percentages. So make sure you guys are finding the right fit for your athletes. And because this needs to be a thought that you're thinking about the next 40 years, not the next 4 years. This is a 40-year fit, not a 4-year fit. And I've got tons of athletes in my past that I've coached, that I've worked with over the years that have decided to take the school that was the better long-term fit, because they knew it would project them down the line in a favorable way than a school that might give them a shot at the pros. Great example, an athlete that I've worked with for many years had 30 to 40 major Division I football programs offered him a scholarship, including the University of Alabama, best program in the country, right? Princeton wanted him as well. He decided to go to Princeton because he knew that if he wanted to have a great, successful life, Princeton was the best option for him as opposed to going to the University of Alabama. So it was a 40-year fit, not the 4-year fit. Could he do great at Princeton and end up opportunity to playing at the NFL? Absolutely. It's happened before. But he really wanted to care about that. He really wanted to take into consideration the 40-year fit. So again, we really preach at field level the long-term effects and the right fit. So hopefully you guys do too. So I'm going to jump into a quick deck here, and just to show you guys some things what to do next on field level. So we've talked all about this stuff. Hopefully you guys got some good information from this and some things you guys can use to talk about with your athletes. But now I want to talk about what you guys can do on field level to make sure you guys are all up to date and ready to use field level to your maximum capacity. And that is first is make sure your profile page is fully done. The left-hand side here, we pulled it out, put it in here a little bigger for you to see. All the information on the left-hand side is extremely important. We have it there for a reason, so make sure you fill it out. Obviously, grades are important. Your contact information is important. Your academic transcripts are very important. If the school can't see what classes you've taken, and if it matches up with what they need in order for you to get into their school academically, they're not going to be able to recruit you. So make sure that's filled in. It might sound silly. Hobbies and interests, so important. Coaches love reading that so they can see things that they can talk to the athlete about. So fill that out. This is your page to brag. Honors and achievements. If you've done something awesome in high school, whether it's an academic thing, athletic, something community-based, put it in there. Coaches want to see it. Next up is film. We get this all the time. We're going to talk about film later this month in another webinar. If a coach can't see an athlete play, they will not recruit them. Hands down, bar none. There's nothing we can do about it. They need to see your athlete play. The best way to see that athlete play in order to gauge to wet their beak about the athlete is video on our platform. Go to the add a video or link area in the middle of your profile page. Take the link from wherever your film is housed, whether it's YouTube, that's the easiest one in our mind, and it's free. Huddle, Crossover, wherever it is, take that link, put it in that box, and it'll populate a box in your profile where athletes are able to then showcase their film on their profile. So college coaches can go in there, they can see all the pertinent information that is on the left-hand side, and they'll be able to see the video as well. Next is the college target school list. We recommend that you have 20 schools in your target school list. The target school list is great because it keeps parents, athletes, and coaches all on the same page where it comes to where that athlete is interested in going. They can see that, and they can also see what's happening within that college program and the contact with the athlete. Have they been in contact? Have they offered? Have you officially committed to them? And obviously your coach is going to know if you commit to a school, but it's good for them to go back in there so when they're promoting athletes and promoting your son and daughter, they can see that they're not only on the target school list, but where they're at in that connection, in that contact process. The target school list, you are able to move the schools around in rankings. You can move a school from 1 to 15, from 15 to 3, whatever the case may be. The little dots on the right-hand side there, you're able to remove a school. You can add a school in. And again, we recommend 20, but you can have as many as you like. A cool feature about the target school list is whenever you put a list or a school on your target school list, the college coach in field level will get notified that the athlete is targeting their school. They cannot tell what rank they are. They can be ranked number 1 or number 21. Doesn't matter. They don't know it. They just know that they're being targeted. All right, and the last thing here is we just want to touch on our premium plan. Many of you are using free, some of you are using premium. I want to talk real quickly about the differences. With free, you're able to build out a free profile. Your coaches are able to promote the athletes to only the coaches that they're currently connected to. You're able to research schools, and you're also able to show coaches that you're targeting them in our platform by putting them on their target school list, which I just talked about. Now, premium, now you get all that stuff for free. There's so much great stuff that happens for free. It's one of the things I love about Field Level is all the free functionality that we provide to athletes, and how much help and how much success we've had with athletes that use our free plan. But premium really turns it on, and we've got some numbers to show that. Now, what does premium bring? And I'll go through the 4 quick things here. First, you're able to have the ability to get great recommendations of schools that you should think about for your target school list. Right now, you only get some basic information. We've got a recommendation for you that's a Division II school in Ohio. Well, what school in Ohio is a great fit for me? We provide that information, exactly what school that is, when you have our premium plan. Very important information that can help you broaden your horizons on options. Option 2, or plan functionality that really kicks into gear, is the ability for your coach, and again, for free, they're only able to promote an athlete to schools or to coaches that they're currently connected to. So let's say they're currently connected to 200 coaches. Great, they can promote your athlete to those 200 coaches. Well, let's say that sport network has 10,000 coaches in that network. And we have many networks that have thousands upon thousands of coaches in the network. When an athlete's account is turned on to premium, they now give the premium functionality to their coach as well for their account specifically. So now that coach can go from only being able to promote the athlete with 200 people to 10,000 people because you've turned on premium for that coach. Next up is the athlete is able to write a letter of interest to colleges that are on their target school list. So now that college can read a letter from this athlete answering 2 core questions. 1, why do I want to play for this program? And 2, why do I want to live in this area geographically? Very simple, but that college coach will read that and realize that the athlete has done their homework about the program and about the area where their school is located, and knows that the athlete has taken the time to do that homework and is truly interested in that school because they've taken that time. And then lastly, and arguably the most important thing, is detailed activity. On your free platform, you're able to see that there is activity happening, whether a coach has found you in a search, whether your profile is being viewed, whether your film is being viewed, whether you've been promoted by your coach, and whether you're being followed by a school. But we give you very basic information. We'll give you the information, we'll just say what division the school is and what state they are in. So we'll say a Division II school in Ohio has looked at your film. A Division III school in Kentucky has started following you. But of course, you want to know what school is it. So we provide that information for you when your athlete has premium or has the premium account. And again, your high school and club coach will be able to see all this information as well. So again, that'll help them know if their promotions are working. That helps them know if there's a school finding you on search and they need to reach out to them to make sure that they can help bridge that gap and get the ball rolling. Whatever the case may be, that detailed information is extremely impactful in the recruiting process and knowing who's interested. And just some real cool stats that we have about our free versus our premium. When an athlete has their account turned on to premium, they are 7 times more likely to get followers. You're going to get 5 times more activity on your account when you have a premium account on Field Level. And you're 4 times more likely to commit to a school using Field Level Premium than you are using our free platform. Again, free has a ton of great things happening. Lots of people get success with it, but a lot more success, and it's a high number of things really do kick into gear here when your athletes have premium turned on. Our premium plan is $39 a month. There is no contract with that. You can start and stop that when you like, or you can go a year, and that's at $372 for the year, which in essence gives you a free month. Another thing great about Field Level that I love about our company is we don't try to attack the young groups to get their money now as a freshman or sophomore. At the end of your sophomore year, going into your sophomore summer, many of you play a sport that has a club element in that sophomore summer going into your junior year. That's when we think you should start kicking into premium. That junior, senior year are so impactful for recruiting. That is a time where you guys are really looking to using our premium plan to really give that big functionality bump to not only you guys, the parents and athletes, but ultimately the coaches as well that are going to be your biggest advocate in recruiting. So I am now done. This is our question and answer time. My contact information is at the bottom. That's my phone number, that's my email, that's our website. the top right-hand corner is our social handles. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all very simple to find at Field Level. We post content, we post announcements, we post recommendations, we post quotes, we post a lot of stuff. We'd love to have you join us on those social platforms to get that information. So it is question and answer time. Like I said, I prefer that you guys use the chat area to ask those questions. Someone already put some things in the question and answer area. I know it's confusing. There's a question and answer box and a chat box. I want everyone to use the chat box. But I'll answer these questions and answers real quick here. But I had to stop sharing my screen. All right, so Marco, let me get your questions real quick here. You suggest contacting a coach through Field Level or personal email. What's more effective? Field Level is a network for college coaches and high school club coaches to connect. They network with each other, and that's where they can communicate about athletes. Our platform does not allow you, the high school aged athlete or club athlete, to proactively send emails to college coaches. So that's not what Field Level does. Everything is with the high school and club coach at the centerpiece. Marco, again, if a questionnaire, so if you get in contact with a college coach, they ask you to fill out a questionnaire, what should we expect after that? They just want your information. They want some more information about you. So go ahead and fill that out and continue to be patient with them to get back to you. And again, let your high school club coach know that has happened, and that's the most recent information happening within that program. When do offers and commits happen for baseball? That's depending on the. We did have a webinar. You can go to our live education page and see this old webinar. But we talked about the recruiting calendar, different times a year where athletes based on the different divisions are getting offers and committing. So that is based on your athlete, what level they can play at, and so that would be definitely something that you guys should look into. Based on the vision, but it can happen as soon as your junior year and all the way up through the end of your senior year in high school and into that summer while you're still weighing your options and deciding where to go. Marco, again, when it talks about understanding different income levels, that is something that they don't need to know your income level, I don't think. Really what you should be in communication with your high school club coach as like a middleman, and also with the colleges as well, is what you guys are willing to afford. That's none of their business of what you can afford, and when it comes to if they put your information into a FAFSA account, when it spits out information of what you should be able to afford, it's up to you as a family of what you guys are willing to spend. Mark, again, I'm going to ask everybody to keep the questions in the chat area. Again, Marty, Brian, and Sean, I'm going to try and answer these, but please, again, the chat area, please. Let's see here. Mark Crotty, the high school coach or the club coach can pay for an athlete to have the premium account turned on, but they'll most likely find a way to recoup that money with you, the parent and athlete. And again, the coach can only turn on a premium account for a specific player. They don't get a coach premium. It is all player-based. And when a player's account is turned on the premium, they also get that functionality for that athlete. Eli Ben Shoshan, this is a question about camps and showcases. Yeah, I would talk to your coach. Some showcases and camps are amazing. They get you exposure. They get you great coaching. Some of them are just great for the ability for your athlete to kind of go get themselves measured against the other kids that they're competing against in recruiting space. But some of them are money grabs and just full of just, getting a bunch of reps and they get a t-shirt and a bunch of reps and there's no real learning or benefit. Talk to your coach that would know those camps and clinics and showcases best within their geographic location. Have that conversation with them so you aren't, again, spending, your money on something that's not going to be helpful. Sean, can I see if my son's target school's coach is on field level? Yes, you can look and see if a program is on field level using our college search filter. Brian, my son's high school coach is connected on field level, but his club baseball coach is not. What are the requirements for teams to participate? No requirements. Have your club coach sign up. We are obviously baseball is one of our most dominant sports that we serve. We encourage athletes connect themselves to multiple coaches' rosters, and so yeah, get that coach added on. I'm surprised. I think we've almost probably got a 98 to 99% of club coaches and club programs on our system. So go ahead and invite that coach to join field level. Is it possible to get an offer from a college from them just seeing your video on field level? Sure. If they love your film, they love what they see, they talk to your coach, and they realize that the coach is giving your athlete a great recommendation, and they believe what the coach says, they believe what they're watching on film and matches up, of course they can. Paul, your son is coming back from an injury. Congratulations to you and him. That's a tough road. I'm a former athlete who tries to be athletic on the weekends and hurt myself, so recovery is a pain in the ass. But yeah, that's great. Just start getting film now. It's not. I mean, I guess you can say, the phrase "it's never too late" it isn't a fully truthful term, but again, you're not too late. You still have a senior year. You still have your coaches valuing for you and helping you get that film whatever you got, get it on there and see what shakes out, and have that coach be your advocate and work with your coach in finding the right fit for your son. Okay, Michael Cummings, you cannot, I don't know if you're the one that asked this earlier. Nope, that was Marco. Our platform is not built for parents and athletes to send film off to college coaches or send emails or messages to college coaches. Our platform is centered around your high school and club coach being your best advocate. So you put your film on your player profile, and your coach can promote that athlete to colleges around the country and encourage them to look into this athlete for recruitment and to go to that page and watch their film. So I hope that is more clear on that. So if you will not be able to send film out using field level to college coaches. Again, college coaches want to speak to the high school and club coach the most. They do not want to speak to the athletes and parents in the early rounds because, of course, that athlete and parent is going to rave about what they can do. So make sure that that their high school coach is the one being your advocate, encouraging the college coach to go ahead and watch that film. All right, I'm going to go to the chat area now that is blowing up, and let's see what we got here. James, why is it important to write out, or in the letter of interest, how important is why they want to play here and why they want to live here? Coaches are recruiting all over the country. They need to know that your athlete has done their homework, or they want to know that their athlete's done their homework. That makes that athlete more interesting to them. They don't want to waste their time recruiting an athlete that doesn't end up having interest for their school. So if your coach says, this kid can play for you, and then the coach at the college level says, great, we're interested, and then goes through the recruiting process and realizes the athlete isn't truly interested, that's going to waste our time. So seeing that an athlete is interested in their school, or know that what that athlete is getting into geographically. If they don't, a coach from Wisconsin doesn't want to recruit a kid from Southern California if he doesn't know that athlete is ready for the change of climate, and vice versa. So those are things that coach can read and see and be informed about when they have that conversation with the athlete to be better prepared to start recruiting that kid. Karen, what specifically does a coach do when promoting an athlete? They will send a message to a college coach within our platform, and it's a trusted resource in the platform that these coaches are connected, or they're not connected and they're using because the athlete has premium. But that high school coach will be sending a college coach, and again, the college coach, like I said earlier, wants to hear from their counterparts at the high school and club level about the athletes first. So the club coach or the high school coach will send a promotion with an evaluation already written about the athlete and an updated note about the athlete as well of why they believe the athlete can be a good part of that program, and then they can start communicating about the athlete that way. When a college follows your athlete, would you recommend sending a letter of interest or reach out a different way thanking them? That was something that you should talk with your coach about on how to communicate with that college coach. But yeah, having a letter of interest in there is good for that school. Again, that school needs, in order to write a letter of interest, the school needs to be on your target school list. What is the best strategy if a not top 5 school offers a roster spot? An athlete prefers to wait and delay for top 5 schools to respond. That's definitely something that you guys would have to communicate with your coach about, kind of learning about, you got to find out who else that school is recruiting, so you know truly how patient they will be for you. That is a per school, per division, per situation question that you have to work with your coach on. They'd have probably a better idea of what's going on with that college. Again, that your high school club coach could probably have a more real coach-to-coach conversation with the college coach about what will happen if if you guys do wait or delay. My son has contacted a coach by email. How long should he wait for a response before he reaches out again? Again, Lisa, that's something that you guys are doing on your own. That's not on field level. We recommend, let me put it this way. For the most part, college coaches widely do not like getting emails or initial contact from athletes. They want that initial contact to come from a coach that works with that athlete. That's the trusted resource. So that's on you guys to do on your own. You've clearly done that on your own. I would work with your coach at the high school club level to promote your athlete. Kristen, you're asking a long, detailed question there. I encourage you, and this is about a brief outline of a timeline of these steps. In other words, what grade levels should high school players be doing different things? That's a long question, and I would love to answer it. My email address I put earlier was jfrench@fieldlevel.com. Please feel free to reach out to me, and let's have a more detailed conversation about that. James Hooker, great question here. Is the NCSA next college student athlete a competitor? They've called you. Is this a recruiter? They are not recruiters. Again, they are in the recruiting tech space, kind of what we are in. We are not a service. What they do is they provide you a do-it-yourself concept, and then they provide a kind of like a counseling based on what level you decide to pay for. They are rather expensive. To be honest with you, when we speak to parents and athletes and coaches, we don't get favorable reviews about them because they, in essence, take the coach out of the process when we keep the most valuable person in this process at the middle of the process, and that is the high school and the club coach. So they are not a college recruiter. They are a company that will tell you that they'll blast you out to a lot of colleges, but really they're just mass emailing people. And yeah, I don't want to get too bad mouthy about any other companies. Again, sometimes it does work for some kids, maybe, but we know that the high school club coach is your best advocate in helping athletes get to the next level. Yeah, of course. JUCO. This is for Wendy. Can you be recruited by a Division I or Division II school from a JUCO? Absolutely. Many colleges will go recruiting from junior college programs. So you can absolutely be recruited from a junior college program. Christine, about weighted or unweighted GPAs. We are only putting unweighted GPAs on our platform as of right now. Different states, different districts have different ways of weighting things. So you are able to put, let's say you have a 4.0 GPA, but your son or daughter has a 4.6 GPA because they're AP classes, their honors classes, things of that nature, go ahead and throw that in the honors and achievements area. So put the 4.0 on there, and the honors achievements, weighted GPA is 4.5, whatever the case may be. Plug that in there so they can see that honor and achievement. That is an honor, and it is an achievement. Smart kids. When it's time for a visit, do you have suggestion questions to ask? Yeah, those questions that you guys dialed in with your family about outside interests. What is the what is the life like of a college athlete at this program? We have a webinar that we did with that I basically interviewed my coworker as a former Division I athlete. What that life was like. I talked a little bit about my life as a college athlete and what the requirements in season, out of season, off season are. Ask those questions to those coaches at the college level to make sure that it's the right fit for you and your family and the athlete. All right, Steve, what do you do when a high school coach quits and there isn't a replacement, hasn't been hired yet? Do you talk to your athletic director? Yeah, that would be a great resource. Maybe there's an assistant coach still on staff that can help. That is something that is difficult, but that's something specific that I think Steve, again, jfrench@fieldlevel.com. If we need to get creative with that, and maybe I can reach out to an assistant coach on your staff or the athletic director, get them set up just to help your son in the meantime. Let's talk. Maybe there's a club coach that they have a connection with as well. Let's see what we can do there. That's definitely a specific situation. Tanya's son has been contacted or has been had their highlight film viewed, has not been contacted from a college coach yet. Again, that's great that he's being followed. Those coaches, that means putting your athlete on their list of targeted athletes on field level. That's a great thing. Continue to work with your coach, your high school club coach. Say, hey, we've been seeing this coach is clearly looking. Can you be proactive and communicate with that college coach in bridging the gap and getting that coach to maybe contact us and contact my son or daughter about this, and to see if we get this ball moving here. Again, Mark, we already answered that question about premiums and coaches. Jillian, yeah, you have a son or daughter that's a multi-sport athlete. That's awesome. You can have multiple accounts on field level for those different sports. If they are an athlete within the 11 sports that we serve, they would just need to sign up for a new account because it would be under another sport network, and they would have to use a different email address. BW, you're asking about underclassmen versus seniors, different levels of play in baseball. Again, jfrench@fieldlevel.com. That's very specific to your situation. So shoot me an email. Let's connect, and we'll talk about that. Alan Tremblay, this is a video question. We're going to talk about that later this month in more detail. Talk to your coach. In the meantime, talk to your coach about what is the best film to put on your player profile, whether it's practice, whether it's batting, whether it's fielding, whether it's game, whether it's highlight. Let that coach know what you have. I don't know what you have for film, but go ahead and talk to your coach about what would be the best thing to put at the top and how to front load that actual film with the things that coach at the college level in baseball want to see. How soon should someone, Alberto, how soon should someone start with this process for soccer? Right away. It's not too early to start. I would say starting in your 9th grade year to start on field level, getting familiar with the recruiting process, starting to talk about the recruiting process with your coaches, and start learning about it as you move forward in your high school career. And then adding film and adding experience on your field level profile that'll show your progression of skill or your athlete's progression of skill as they move along their years. Rob Easley, multi-sport athlete, multi-sport interest. Talk to your coach. By the way, I think that's awesome. And you might have to, and I think this applies to other people as well. You might have a son or daughter that wants to play 2 sports, and that's great. And let's say they're a Division I for this sport and a Division II for this sport. Well, they may have to go down to Division II and play both sports. Or they're both Division I athlete for both sports, or Division II for both sports, or whatever the case may be. That's going to be something you have to figure out with your son or daughter and their coaches to see what levels they can play at. And that's something to have, like I talked about, side interests. They want to play 2 sports. When you talk to, let's say, Rob, I have no idea who your son or daughter is, but let's say you have an athlete, you have a female athlete, and she wants to play volleyball and soccer. That volleyball coach is talking to you, and you're like, you know what, we'd love your program, but we want to play soccer as well. How do you feel about that? What can we do to get in contact with this soccer coach and see if you guys can work something out? If we can do like a dual sport financial aid package, dual sport, sharing of the athlete. That's something to talk about the college coach with, and something to tell your high school and club coach that you're interested in, so they are armed with that as well when they have these conversations with coaches. It's a great question. James Hooker, Division III school with a high tuition. How do you politely or politically say, show me the money? Have that conversation with them. Have that conversation with your coach. Be straight with them. It's about what you guys are willing to afford, willing to do in loans. If you're not willing to do a loan, there's nothing wrong with that either. That's a family and financial preference that you set, that you have. Talk to the coach. The coach can also be an advocate for you. Like, hey, look, you're going to get a great young person for your program. You got to kind of find a way to come up with some more money to help them be interested. Maybe you guys have other programs that are offering the amount of money that you guys are willing to accept. That coach can use that information and kind of help broker that deal, help barter. So it depends what that school is, but definitely have a conversation with your coach and those college coaches to let them know that. Be upfront with them. Good question, BW. Do high school or club coaches have to allow college coaches to view the player's contact info in a field level before they can contact the player directly? Yes. So 2 ways field level athletes are being seen. They're found in searches. If they're found in searches by a college coach, that college coach will reach out to the high school coach and say, love your athlete. Can you release the contact information from me, the college coach, to communicate with the athlete? If the high school and club coach is a gate person that say yes or no. And then also the other way is college coaches are sent promotions. We talked about that earlier. And when a college coach is getting a promotion sent to them from the high school club coach, that automatically opens the contact information for that college coach to reach out, because clearly the high school and club coach thinks they can play for that school, and that's why they've contacted them and promoted them. So that functionality to contact the athlete opens up immediately. We get a lot of camp invites from colleges. Should we respond one way or another to them? Some emails will rather are mailed to our home. Yeah, if you get an email, if you can easily fire off a text, thanks for the interest, not interested, thanks for the interest, but we're busy that weekend, whatever you want to do. If you don't think it's a beneficial camp, clinic, showcase for you and your athlete, go ahead and have that conversation with your coach too, to make sure it's not the right fit and right thing to go to, or a waste of money. And then from there, you can respond to that coach, let them know that you're unable to make it or uninterested. Because you never know, that coach could get a polite response back and say, you know what, I'm still interested in this athlete, or get a rude response back or no response back and be like, they're not even polite enough to respond back to me. Forget them. We're going to take them off our list. So hedge your bets. Make sure you guys are constantly getting back to them. If an athlete hasn't taken their ACT or their SAT, but a GPA is high, would that be sufficient data to put profile test is completed? Fill out whatever you can. If your athlete doesn't have an SAT or ACT score yet, then there's nothing to put in there. No problem. So just make sure there's as much information is put in there that you can. GPA, GPA and transcripts are definitely things that you have, and then you can put that SAT or ACT score when you guys have that done. Adrian, would it be worth a sophomore baseball player to sign up for premium, or better to wait until next year? I'm going to shoot you straight. I say you sign up for premium going into his the summer after his sophomore year, going into his junior year in high school, but the summer between sophomore and junior year is really when things start kicking into gear, because by then, when he goes into that summer, he's considered a junior. So I recommend waiting this year on that. Again, as much as we would love your money, We want to make sure that premium is impactful for everybody involved when they use it. We don't want you spending your money frivolously, and so wait to the summer going into his junior year. When it comes to video presentations, is it important to hire a pro to video, or will game clips work best? Depends what sport your athlete's playing, what you need to film. Talk to your coach. There could be a lot of videographers out there. It could be you just doing it from your iPad or your phone and finding a free way. Again, we're going to talk about this later this month, and finding a free way to edit that together. Or you're just like, you know what, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to hire someone to do it for me. Plenty of companies out there for you to do that. Patrick, I'm not 100% sure what you're saying here, but I'm going to try and take a guess here. I guess you're asking if we compare to other recruiting companies. Again, we are not a recruiting company. We're not a service. Me, Jason French, and nobody else in our company is going to go ahead and advocate for any of the athletes on our platform. It's all coach-centered, coach-based. And so your high school and club coach are going to be the ones promoting you, advocating for you and for athletes. So that's where we differ from what a service would provide. Christine, our presentation on videos is going to be the 26th of September. And you can go to our field level education page. At the bottom of our homepage, there's an education series page there. And you can register for that now if you'd like. And we're also sending out a intro email like we did this week on the week of the 26th. Stephen Maley, Honors and Achievement, National Honors Society, and the like should be added. Absolutely. If they've done something impressive, if it's an honor or achievement, academic, athletic, or community service-based, or community church, whatever it is, performing arts-based, throw it in there. They've done it in high school, throw it in there. I wouldn't say that they, won this soapbox derby race with their Cub Scout unit in 3rd grade, but definitely put the stuff that they've done in high school that's more relevant. Todd, how impactful is having film on social media versus the application like field level for baseball and softball? I say this humbly, we dominate baseball, and we do we're extremely strong in softball. We're strong in all of our sports, but baseball is probably the biggest network that we have. And so having your film on field level where college coaches are going to come see that, I would say is more impactful than just tweeting it out. Where a bunch of the athletes' buddies are going to see it. So that would be my initial response, is having that out there for coaches to see on your field level profile. Steve Maley, baseball videos, should it be progression over time or only show the current baseball stuff? Great question. College coaches want to see a progression of ability, progression of speed, size, agility, all these different things, skills. The most recent video will be at the top, so they're able to scroll down and go up to the top and see that progression. So yeah, you can do both. There's no limit. Alan, why do some college cards say athlete to target, add targets, while others say something like athlete hasn't been promoted to the school or something like that? That means that the school is not on your target school list. Maybe the school is on your target school list, but your coach has not promoted you to that target school. So that's something that you would have to communicate with your coach about, saying, hey, I'm interested in these schools. Please promote me to these schools. That's something that you could talk about in that initial meeting. Jillian Thurman, are multiple profiles beneficial? You can only have one profile per sport. I think being a multi-sport athlete is beneficial for life. And tons of college coaches love recruiting multi-sport athletes, so I don't think there's any problem with that. Tina, my son has 15 Division I follows and is a 2021 grad class. If they follow you, does that mean they are very interested? I can't tell you the level of interest they are, but that means they are interested. They have taken the time looked at the profile, looked at the film, and said, I like this young person enough to put them on my recruiting list. Now, I have no idea what their recruiting list looks like. Are there 100 kids on their recruiting list? Are there 10? I don't know, but it definitely means that they're interested and they want to follow that athlete and see how they progress. The best way to get film, Deb, what's the best way to get film? That is, talk to your coach. Maybe your coach has Huddle or puts all their film on YouTube, or you need to put the athlete's film on YouTube. That's a more specific question based on your team, what they have as a software database, what you're able to use. Contact me. I can walk you through that a little more specifically, because it sounds like that's a specific question. Steve Maley, best profile pic, smile or semi-serious face. Up to you, but having a profile picture is extremely important, whether it's an action shot of a jump shot, or a kid throwing a football, or baseball taking a swing, a young lady, spiking the ball. Having a profile picture shows that the athlete is taking the time with the profile. Always have a profile picture. Up to you guys. I don't think it really matters if it's mean game face like Kobe Bryant or smiling like a portrait. Go ahead and put in whatever you guys want. Do college recruiters generally take a look at or put weight on high school stats? Yeah, I think they do look at it, but really they put more weight and the most weight on looking at film. The statistics can show, of course, a highlight film can show all the best things that athlete's done throughout the year, but what have they done within those athletic or those highlight clips? Some stats they're able to take a snapshot of what that athlete has done or has done throughout the year and their consistency. So I definitely recommend putting stats in their honors and achievements if you'd like, but really they need to see film. Guadalupe, you're talking about film. What should they have? What kind of film? What should it be in the front? What should it be in the end? We're having that webinar in 2 weeks. I definitely suggest that you sign up for that. We're going to talk in detail about film and move forward with that. You can also contact me privately. We can have a conversation at jfrench@fieldlevel.com. Kristen, you're talking about between us and NCSA. Again, we are a coaches network. High school and club coaches connect with their college coaching counterparts and vice versa to collaborate and communicate about athletes. NCSA is more of a do-it-yourself service where they provide you a bunch of emails and contact information, and they just let the athlete and parent do it on their own. They basically, in essence, take the athlete, the coach, out of the process. That's not how we believe that should be done. We actually know that for a fact, that the high school club coach is the most important person that the college coach wants to hear from first, and they trust the most in the recruiting process. So up to you if you want to go that route, but we highly recommend going the route of the coach being your best advocate. And again, I have never personally heard, and I don't think anybody on my team has heard any positivity coming from other recruiting services. Christine, yeah, my contact information is jfrench@fieldlevel.com. Because I have to read these, I'm not able to post my contact information at the same time. Tina, how realistic is a 2021 grad able to get a D1 offer? It's possible. I don't know who your son is. I don't know your daughter. I don't know what schools these are. It is possible, but it depends on what sport it is as well. Different sports have different rules. So I definitely look into that. We have a recruiting calendar rule where you can dig into information about the recruiting calendar and when they're able to start doing that. Thoughts on recruiting companies reaching out and offering to help move your athlete up in their database? Again, that's again, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but that is definitely a ploy, in my opinion, to get you on a list somewhere when really it is about that coach. It is about your high school and club coach advocating for your athlete. That is going to be your best way to get your athletes in front of college coaches. Again, do some kids, some athletes, get in front of a college coach by a recruiting service? Maybe, but we know the high percentages when a college coach is being promoted to or being advocated by a high school club coach. What would you say is your number one piece of advice? This is from Don. Work with your coach on recruiting. They are going to be your best advocate. Again, I'm a broken record, but it's what we believe in here at field level, and is what I believe in as a coach myself. I mean, I've been doing this for years. Before I was a field level either member or a teammate or an employee here. Work with your coach. Kat, you recommend placing videos on athletes as a sophomore? Yeah, absolutely. Again, college coaches want to see a progression. Go ahead and add that film now, and they'll be able to watch that film now and see progression of that athlete their junior year, their senior year, and so on. Steve, there's an older evaluation. Yeah, I understand that Coach Knott wasn't able to do that. It's a year old. Touch base with that coach, say that, I mean, the evaluation is important. College coaches can see when that evaluation was written. They will probably want a more updated evaluation. Talk with your coach to make sure that that's getting done. You can also reach out to me, and I can reach out to that coach and let them know the importance of the evaluation, the importance that their voice holds in this recruiting process, and encourage them to move forward on it. Oh, David, if you, what do you do if you were the high school coach of your kid? That's awesome. I would say go on there. I also say you have a field level profile, get an assistant coach on there. So maybe you can have an assistant coach being the one that's promoting your son to these colleges, and it'll show a different name than the same last name. So I would recommend getting an assistant coach on there. Not only does it help that assistant coach build out their own network, start being a part of that sport network, building their career as well, and helping athletes as well, but it also gives them the ability to help your son and it be coming from a different voice. I have a question here. Do you recommend NCSA if your high school coach is not helping? No comment, but no, I do not. I recommend you contact me and we'll contact your high school club coach together. Do we have information at NCAA Clearinghouse on our website? Not on our website specifically, but we do have links to the NCAA Clearinghouse. We also have a place on our platform where athletes are able to post their NCAA Clearinghouse number. So you can. It's very easy to go find the NCAA Clearinghouse information on the NCAA website. Angela, is it worth sending unsolicited emails to dozens of college coaches for my son to introduce himself and share his achievements and interests in their colleges? Again, in my opinion, no. They get literally thousands and thousands of these emails from parents and athletes, and of course, they're all going to say, "I want to be at your school. I'm the best thing to be at your school." They want to hear from the coach. So work with your coach on them being the ones as that introduction point. Son is a professional football kicking coach. It's from James. Delivers that input. Yeah, if you got a great trainer, a reputable trainer, go ahead and get them on field level, invite them on field level. They can be another voice, another high-level advocate for your son. Alan, just an FYI, this is an unsolicited opinion, but we have premium and it's well worth it. Alan, thank you for the promotion. I promise you, I did not ask Alan to do that, and I did not pay him for that. Do athletes follow the same SAT, ACT, GPA requirements to get in schools as non-athletes? That's a different conversation to have. I'm assuming a lot of colleges out there, when trying to field their athletic programs, have the ability to work with their admissions departments in getting athletes in. So that's up to each school based on their academic requirements on a per school, per program situation. Jillian Thurman, where can I see a list of sports that we serve? You can go online, you can go on our website and see that, but it's football, it is baseball, softball, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's volleyball, men's and women's lacrosse, and men's and women's soccer. Patrick, you're right. I do talk a lot about the high school club coach. What can you do as a parent to help? Have that conversation with your coach, and that I recommended earlier, and then ask them that question: what can I do to help in this process? Is there something that I need to do that I can help with? Is there an assistant coach in your staff that you think really is a high level advocate for your son or daughter that we can work with as well to help relieve some of that stress? Talk to your coach about that, and they may have some opinions for you. David, what if we have multiple college coaches approach my son at a college showcase? What should we do as a next step? Get all their information. Thank them for the communication. Thank them for the meeting. You're always able to contact them, especially after that initial contact point. And then let all of your high school club coaches know that you've had that communication. So they're able to add those schools to your target school list, mark them as in contact, and let your high school and club coach know that you've been in contact with them. So they have that knowledge in their database. So when they're either reaching out to new schools or reaching out to that school to help bridge the gap or help the process of recruiting go, they have that information. Deb, how can you tell the difference between email invites and personal invites my son should respond to? Take those invites, read them all, talk to your coach. Again, they will know the showcase, the camp, the clinic that is worth your time and that they're truly interested, or a money grab. I get, in my coaching paths, I get like tons of envelopes of, come to my football camp, come to my football clinic. And it's all these companies that I know, trash, money grab. Oh, this might be for real. Let's take a look at this. Let's open this together and read more into this. Let me contact the coach on your behalf. Let me see if they're truly interested, if they're just looking to get more kids to their camp. Work with the coach on that. They'll be able to give you better information. Gary, you guys got a senior athlete playing baseball. You're too late. No, you're not too late. Work with your coach. Get on field level. Get the profile filled out. Get the premium. Talk to your coach. Work with your coach. Build out your target school list and give it your best effort. And we literally watch athletes or college coaches. Let's backtrack. I see college coaches posting recruiting needs every day, deep into the summer, looking for last minute, athletes to come play for them. That have just graduated as a senior. Not too late. You still have a chance. Work with your coach. Get on field level. Knock this out. And have a great season. Julie, my daughter's high school coach got her on this. Can her club coach add to it as well? Absolutely. Athletes are able to be part of multiple teams' rosters. Most of our sports, pretty much besides football, have a club element, so they're able to get themselves attached to their clubs, their area code clubs, their travel club, their high school program, their training academy that they're part of. They're able to be part of these different programs. And if they're not on field level, those clubs or training academies or showcase teams, they can be added. You can invite them. Tanya, yep. As soon as you guys are on field level premium, it turns on right away. Alan, you can go down to the education series page at the top there. There are two options there. One, today's, and then the second one is, I think it's how to make highlight film that college coaches will watch. That I think is the link there that you can sign up for. Stephen, great quote here. Agreeing with field level premium, it takes you from watching the show to being part of the big show. Great line. I'm gonna have to share that with my team here. Oh, great question, Julie. How many kids have gone on to college using field level only for athletic scholarships? we've had at least 63,000 commitments through field level. Many athletes will use field level, it works, and then they're pumped on college, they don't sign back on to field level, and they don't mark their commitment. Well, we have 63,000 marked commitment on field level, and I would guess that we're probably close to the 90 to 100,000 athletes have used our platform to success and just didn't take the time to go ahead and click the I committed to this school box. Where does college coaches determine or select their preferred athletes? College coaches have a search area within their side of the site that they're able to do a detailed, basically search for their athletes that they're looking for, and then start looking at the athletes based on that search. What is your opinion on schools with JV programs? Edward, I'm assuming you're asking if the athlete just plays a JV sport so they can focus more on their academics, or basically split up their focus. How does that hurt or help? I'll be honest with you, if a college coach is looking and finds out that the athlete is just a junior varsity level athlete, I would assume they won't be very interested. They're going to be interested in club level athletes and or varsity level athletes. So yeah, if an athlete is young and playing a junior varsity sport and they're working their way up to varsity, throw that film on there. That's great. They're going to see their evolution as an athlete. But definitely they got to be in a varsity sport, or maybe it's a high level club athlete that they can watch that film and know that they're playing at a competitive level. A couple questions here. More questions. That's what field of premium athlete. All right. All right, I think I answered all the questions. Julie, yeah, you know, we've heard that sometimes too. Different states, different areas have a different, like, I mean, club sports, especially with volleyball, is definitely a more recruited, more valuable source for getting recruited than the high school level, especially in volleyball. I know that takes place a lot. And some people will say just don't even play high school. I'm not going to say that, but some people go ahead and say that. But yeah, I would definitely talk to your club and high school coach or coaches and college coaches to see what is most valuable to them. I don't want to tell you to remove your athlete from playing high school sports. I think there's something special about that. But I know that the colleges do definitely look probably more closely at club level sports, at some of the sports that we carry. All right. Well, I've been on here for an hour and a half just talking my face off. I appreciate all of your time. I'm going to send a follow-up email to you guys as well. I appreciate all of you guys taking your time to spend with me. That can't be fun. But hopefully you learned something, got some answers, and please feel free to reach out to me, jfrench@fieldlevel.com, and love to communicate with you guys. Love working with the parents here, and best of luck to you guys as you guys go through this process. And again, reach out to me if you need anything, and hopefully to see you guys at some of our other webinars moving forward. Thanks, guys.